Welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're going to be exploring this really interesting concept of rapport.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing that using a series of talks from an NLP expert named Sarkis.
All right.
Now, you might be thinking NLP. Is this going to be all about manipulating people? But stick with us because it's way more interesting than that.
Yeah, we'll be uncovering what rapport really is,
Yeah.
why it matters, and how to build it authentically without resorting to tricks or sleazy tactics.
Yeah. And, you know, these talks actually touch on some pretty deep stuff, like the importance of self-awareness
Yeah.
and even self-compassion.
Wow.
And how they impact your ability to connect with others.
Right.
It's like your inner world shapes the connections you make in the outer world.
Absolutely.
And Sarkis believes that finding that peace within yourself can actually help you attract better relationships.
Absolutely. One of the key things Sarkis highlights is the power of genuine interest in the other person. It's about letting go of any agenda you might have and simply being present with them, observing and connecting with them for who they truly are.
He uses this really cool analogy of grandfather clocks in a room.
Okay.
You know how eventually their pendulums start swinging in unison?
Yeah.
Well, rapport is kind of like that.
Uh-huh.
It's a natural phenomenon that we see everywhere,
Yeah.
but we can also learn to consciously cultivate it.
It's fascinating, isn't it? This idea that we can tap into this natural force of synchronicity and use it to enhance our relationships.
Yeah.
And one of the ways Sarkis suggests we practice is by engaging with people we don't have a romantic interest in.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Because when you take the romantic element out of the equation,
Yeah.
it forces you to go beyond superficiality and tap into that genuine curiosity about the other person.
Yeah.
It's like you're seeing them with fresh eyes, noticing things you might have missed otherwise.
Precisely. And that's where the real magic of rapport lies, in that genuine connection and understanding. Sarkis even argues that focusing on someone's eye color for a full 60 seconds can create a powerful sense of connection.
Really?
Yeah. It might sound strange, but it forces you to truly see the other person.
I've got to try that.
Yeah.
It's amazing how these seemingly small shifts in our awareness can have such a big impact on our interactions.
Right.
But as we delve deeper into these techniques,
Yeah.
it's important to address the ethical side of things as well.
Absolutely.
Sarkis is very clear that using rapport to manipulate or exploit people will ultimately backfire.
Yeah, he compares it to money.
Okay.
It doesn't change who you are, it just amplifies what's already there.
Right.
So if you're coming from a place of insecurity and using rapport techniques to try and mask that,
Yeah.
it's only going to magnify your insecurity in the long run.
It's like building a house on a shaky foundation.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's going to crumble.
Right.
Sarkis emphasizes that building rapport should always be based on respect and a shared humanity. He even talks about how things like objectification, especially through pornography, can actually disconnect us from the true joy of connecting with others.
It's about recognizing that true fulfillment comes from genuine connection, not from fleeting moments of gratification. It's about seeing the other person as a whole being with their own unique thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
And that brings us to the idea of self-compassion and how it plays into building rapport.
What's fascinating here is that Sarkis believes cultivating genuine connection actually starts within ourselves. It's about finding that inner peace and extending that same kindness and understanding to others.
He even recommends specific practices like journaling, spending time in nature, and something called the compassion exercise to develop that self-compassion.
Right.
Have you ever tried the compassion exercise?
I have, and it's incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
It really helps you tap into that sense of loving kindness, both towards yourself and towards others.
You know, you've probably felt this yourself. That person who walks into a room and just seems to effortlessly connect with everyone.
Right.
Sarkis argues that it comes from a place of inner peace and self-acceptance.
That's the kind of energy that draws people in. It's authentic, it's inviting, and it creates a space for genuine connection to flourish.
So how do we cultivate that kind of energy within ourselves?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And a perfect segue into the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll explore some of the techniques Sarkis recommends for cultivating inner peace and self-compassion.
All right, stay tuned because things are about to get really interesting.
So you're probably wondering how to actually cultivate that inner peace that leads to genuine connection.
I know I am. It sounds great in theory, but putting it into practice can feel a bit daunting.
Well, Sarkis emphasizes that it's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
It's about making small, consistent efforts to shift our mindset and our habits. He suggests practices like journaling, spending time in nature, and even just taking a few deep breaths throughout the day.
It's almost like hitting the reset button on our nervous system, allowing ourselves to come back to a place of calm and clarity. And from that place, we can start to work on building that inner peace.
He even talks about how this inner peace can actually make you more attractive to others.
Now, that's what I call a win-win. But how exactly does that work?
Well, think about it this way. When you're feeling confident and comfortable in your own skin, you naturally project that energy outward. And that kind of energy is magnetic. It draws people in because it conveys a sense of strength and stability.
So it's not about trying to force connections or put on a facade. It's about doing the inner work so that our outer world reflects that inner peace.
Exactly. Sarkis argues that trying to pick up girls can actually hinder your ability to build genuine rapport.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it creates this dynamic of trying to get something from someone rather than simply connecting with them as a fellow human being.
He emphasizes that connecting with women shouldn't be about getting something from them. It's about seeing them as individuals, as friends, and partners with their own hopes, dreams, and complexities.
He believes that by shifting our focus from getting to being, we can create more fulfilling relationships that are based on mutual respect and understanding.
It makes you wonder if some of our struggles with connections stem from that insecurity and self-doubt. We put up these walls to protect ourselves from getting hurt, but they also end up preventing us from forming those deep connections we crave.
He talks about how objectification fueled by things like pornography can create a harmful disconnect between men and women.
It reduces women to objects, rather than seeing them as complex human beings worthy of respect and connection. It's like we're trying to connect with a fantasy instead of a real person.
Exactly. And that disconnect can lead to frustration and disappointment for both parties involved.
So how do we break free from that objectifying mindset and start seeing people, especially women, as they truly are?
Sarkis believes it starts with becoming more aware of the messages we're consuming and the ways we interact with women in our daily lives. It's about asking ourselves, is this interaction respectful? Am I seeing this person as an individual or as an object?
It's about challenging those ingrained societal norms that objectify women and devalue their experiences. It's about recognizing that women are equal partners in life, and that true connection comes from treating them with dignity and respect.
Now remember that NLP technique we mentioned earlier, mirroring.
Yeah.
Well, Sarkis talks about how even mirroring subtle gestures can create an almost instant connection. He gives the example of someone scratching their nose and then you subtly doing the same.
It sounds a little bit like monkey see, monkey do, but I can see how that subconscious mirroring could create a sense of synchronicity.
It's fascinating how these seemingly small actions can have such a big impact on rapport. It really speaks to the power of nonverbal communication and how much we pick up on without even realizing it.
So it's not just about what we say, but how we carry ourselves and how we respond to others on a physical level. It's about being attuned to those subtle cues and using them to create a sense of harmony and connection.
And like any skill-building rapport takes practice, Sarkis encourages us to view every interaction as an opportunity to hone our skills and learn from our experiences.
It's about being willing to step outside of our comfort zones, try new things, and embrace the inevitable stumbles along the way. It's like learning to ride a bike. You're going to fall a few times before you find your balance.
He even suggests practicing in everyday situations like ordering coffee or chatting with the cashier at the grocery store.
That's a great idea. I'm going to try being more present and intentional in those everyday interactions. It's about bringing that awareness of rapport into all areas of our lives, not just when we're trying to impress someone.
Sarkis also highlights the importance of self-awareness and understanding how our own internal state can unconsciously affect the energy we project outward. Have you ever noticed how some people just seem to radiate positive energy while others bring you down?
Oh, absolutely. You can definitely feel the difference.
Hmm.
But what I'm curious about is how can we cultivate that positive energy within ourselves?
He argues that if we're carrying around a lot of negativity or self-doubt, it creates a barrier between us and others. It's like our inner state becomes a filter through which we experience the world and interact with people.
If that filter is clouded with negativity, it's going to be tough to see the best in others and form those genuine connections.
Exactly. Sarkis believes that the more at peace we are with ourselves, the more easily we can connect with others.
So cultivating inner peace is almost like laying the foundation for strong, healthy relationships.
That's a great way to put it. It's not about becoming some sort of Zen master. It's about finding those moments of peace amidst the chaos of daily life.
Do you have any tips for incorporating those moments of peace into our busy lives?
He suggests practices like meditation, spending time in nature, and even just taking a few deep breaths throughout the day to cultivate that sense of inner calm. It's about finding what works for you and making self-care a priority.
It sounds like it's all about creating a space within ourselves where we can feel grounded and centered regardless of what's happening around us.
From that place of inner peace, we can then approach relationships with more clarity, compassion, and authenticity.
And it's from that place of authenticity that we can really start building those meaningful connections, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. When we're coming from a place of wholeness and self-acceptance, it's much easier to connect with others on a deeper level. We're not seeking validation or approval because we already have it within ourselves.
And I imagine that inner confidence and self-assurance is a powerful attractant because it conveys a sense of strength and stability. It's like becoming a beacon of positivity, drawing people in with our light.
He also talks about the importance of releasing secrets we may be holding on to, suggesting therapy techniques like journaling to bring them to light.
So he sees that releasing the power of these secrets by acknowledging and expressing them is crucial for healing and growth.
It's like finally letting go of a heavy weight you've been carrying for far too long.
And that newfound lightness
Yeah.
can then translate into more authentic and fulfilling relationships. But what if we're struggling to do this inner work on our own?
He encourages seeking support from therapists, coaches, or trusted friends who can help us navigate this journey of self-discovery.
It's a reminder that we don't have to go it alone, and that there are people who care about us and want to see us thrive.
Remember, this process is about building a relationship with ourselves just as much as it is about building relationships with others.
Ultimately, the quality of our relationships with others is a reflection of the relationship we have with ourselves.
So if we want to attract healthy and fulfilling relationships, we need to start by nurturing our own inner world. Taking care of our physical, emotional, and spiritual needs is essential for creating a sense of inner harmony and well-being.
It sounds like building rapport is a multifaceted process that involves both inner and outer work. It's about creating a positive and supportive internal environment and then reaching out to others from that place of inner strength and authenticity.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we are all interconnected and that by supporting and uplifting one another, we create a more harmonious and fulfilling world for all.
And that interconnectedness is something Sarkis emphasizes. He challenges us to step outside of our comfort zones and connect with people who are different from us.
He believes that embracing diversity and expanding our social circles can broaden our perspectives and enrich our lives immeasurably.
It's about recognizing that there's always something new to learn and that everyone has something valuable to offer.
And perhaps most importantly, it's about being present in the moment when interacting with others.
Putting away our phones, silencing that inner critic, and truly giving our full attention to the person in front of us.
It's about truly listening to what they have to say, both verbally and non-verbally, and responding in a way that shows we care.
We shift our focus from trying to impress or entertain to simply connecting on a human level.
He even suggests practicing active listening techniques like paraphrasing what the other person has said or asking clarifying questions.
Those are great techniques. It shows we're paying attention and are genuinely interested in what the other person has to say.
He also emphasizes the importance of nonverbal communication, such as making eye contact, using open body language, and smiling genuinely.
Those nonverbal cues can convey so much warmth, trust, and connection, creating a welcoming and inviting atmosphere.
He even talks about the importance of appropriate touch, like a handshake or a pat on the back, in building rapport.
It's fascinating how touch can create a sense of connection and intimacy, as long as it's done respectfully and within boundaries.
Absolutely. It's all about being mindful and intentional with our actions.
It sounds like rapport is a delicate dance between verbal and nonverbal communication, using all our senses to connect and create a shared experience. But sometimes even with all the right techniques, it can still feel difficult to connect. What about those times when we just don't click with someone?
Well, Sarkis reminds us that not every connection is meant to last forever. Some relationships are fleeting, while others are meant to be long-term.
It's about appreciating each connection for what it is and learning from every experience.
And speaking of learning, Sarkis highlights the importance of being vulnerable in our interactions.
That can be so scary. But it's about letting go of that need to appear perfect and allowing ourselves to be seen for who we truly are.
When we're willing to be vulnerable, it gives others permission to do the same, which can deepen the connection immensely. It creates that space of trust and safety where authentic selves can emerge.
Do you think that's the key to true rapport?
I think it's a huge part of it.
It sounds like vulnerability is the bridge to that deep, authentic connection we're all craving. But it's not always easy, is it?
It definitely takes courage. And Sarkis acknowledges that there's a potential dark side to rapport-building techniques as well. They can be misused.
Oh, that's a bit unsettling. I mean, we've been talking about rapport as this amazing tool for connection.
Yeah.
How could it be used in a negative way?
Well, he's seen firsthand how using these techniques to manipulate or exploit people ultimately backfires.
Right.
It leads to emptiness and regret, both for the manipulator and the person being manipulated.
So it's not just about learning the techniques, but also about checking our motives and intentions before we use them.
Exactly. Sarkis emphasizes that authentic connection takes time, effort, and a genuine desire to understand and respect others. It can't be faked or manufactured.
It's like trying to build a fire with wet wood. You might get a few sparks, but it's not going to ignite into a real flame.
He talks about how some people get so caught up in the game of seduction that they lose sight of the true meaning of connection. They become addicted to the validation and the feeling of power that comes from manipulating others.
But those fleeting moments of validation can't replace the deep satisfaction of a genuine, heartfelt connection. So how can we tell if someone is using these techniques in a manipulative way? What red flags should we be looking out for?
Sarkis suggests paying attention to their motives. Are they genuinely interested in you as a person, or are they just trying to get something from you? Do
Right.
they respect your boundaries, or do they try to push your limits?
It's about trusting our instincts and being willing to walk away from situations that feel off or inauthentic.
Remember, true rapport is a two-way street.
Yeah.
It's about mutual respect, understanding, and a willingness to be vulnerable with each other.
It's a partnership, not a power struggle.
Yeah.
Both people contribute to creating that shared space of connection.
He even encourages us to view challenges and setbacks in our relationships as opportunities for growth.
That's a powerful perspective. It's about reframing our experiences and seeing the lessons in every situation, even the difficult ones.
He believes that embracing those challenges can help us develop resilience and become more adaptable in our relationships.
So rather than seeing conflict as a sign of failure, we can see it as a chance to learn and grow both individually and as a couple.
Exactly. And that leads to another important point Sarkis makes: the importance of setting realistic expectations in our relationships.
Okay.
No relationship is perfect, and there will be ups and downs along the way.
Right.
It's about embracing the imperfections and focusing on the positive aspects of the relationship.
When we set realistic expectations, we're less likely to be disappointed and more likely to appreciate the good times.
And we also need to remember to communicate our needs clearly and respectfully.
Right, that's essential for any healthy relationship.
It's about creating a safe and supportive space where both people feel comfortable expressing themselves.
And where honesty and vulnerability are met with compassion and understanding.
Exactly. Effective communication can help us resolve conflicts more easily and build stronger, more fulfilling relationships.
Sarkis also emphasizes the importance of having fun together.
Yes.
Laughter, playfulness, and shared experiences can strengthen the bond between people in a truly magical way.
It's about making time for activities that bring us joy and allow us to connect on a lighter level. Those shared moments of laughter and joy can create lasting memories and strengthen the foundation of any relationship.
It sounds like rapport is a complex interplay of communication, empathy, vulnerability, and shared experiences.
It's a dynamic and ever-evolving dance between two people committed to supporting and uplifting each other.
He encourages us to view our relationships as a journey of growth and discovery, embracing the ups and downs, and recognizing that every experience has something to teach us about ourselves and the nature of love and connection.
And that's a beautiful message to carry with us as we navigate the complex and ever-evolving landscape of human relationships.
It reminds us that we have the power to create positive change in our own lives and in the world, one connection at a time.
So to wrap things up, what's one key takeaway our listeners can start implementing today?
Well, I think Sarkis would encourage us to simply be more mindful of our interactions with others, to really see the person in front of us, listen attentively, and respond with genuine interest and compassion.
It's about shifting our focus from trying to get something to simply connecting on a human level. And when we approach our interactions with that kind of intentionality, we open ourselves up to the transformative power of rapport.
He believes that by cultivating genuine connections, we can create a more loving, compassionate, and interconnected world.
And here's a final thought to leave you with. What are some small ways you can practice rapport in your daily life? Maybe it's making eye contact with the barista at your favorite coffee shop, or genuinely listening to a friend who's going through a tough time. By bringing awareness to these everyday interactions, you can start to cultivate a more connected and fulfilling life.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of rapport. Until next time.